And then I saw her in like a school play, and she's very talented and beautiful, and then I had a big crush on her, right? And so every time I saw her around campus, I'd have a little argument in my head. One part of my brain was like, wow, she's amazing, you should go talk to her. Another part of my brain was like, well, I don't know, what if she doesn't like me? And then the third part of my brain, the ADHD anxiety, was just like, show her a meme. And then the first two parts of my brain collectively were just like, we can't show that to anyone. So I didn't talk to her for an entire year until at one point, by some miracle, we ended up hanging out in the same group of friends. And not only that, but she mentioned that she was on Tinder and couldn't find a good guy, right? So what I should have said was, oh, I'm single too. Do you want to go on a date sometime? But what I actually said was, Tinder. Yeah. But then when I got home, I just swiped like I've never swiped before. Swiping left, swiping so fast, I actually got to her profile, but I didn't realize it was her till I'd already swiped her away, right? And I've often wondered, I'm like, who are those desperate losers that pay like $16 a month for Tinder Plus so they can go back and re-swipe? Turns out, me. I'm that guy. And so that's what I did, and we matched, and we went on a date, and it went well, except one thing I didn't tell her on this date is that a couple weeks beforehand, I'd done my first ever stand-up comedy set. It had been mediocre, if not bad, because I'd done a British accent for the entire length of my act, and then my last joke was revealing that I was actually Canadian, and everyone was just confused. And I wasn't even sure if I wanted to keep doing stand-up, but I didn't tell her that. I just weaved all the jokes I had into our conversation so she'd think I was funny. And then at the end of the date, I said, you should come see me do a show sometime. So then, unfortunately, I had to become a comedian. And we got to that stage where we were sort of like in a relationship, but we hadn't used the terms boyfriend or girlfriend yet, which is not usually that big of a deal, but I was 21, I was so anxious. The thought kept coming into my head, boyfriend, girlfriend, and at one point it came into my head while we were in the midst of making and and I don't know if anyone here has had sex, but it's you're not at your most rational, Like I find about 50% of my brain is just focused on the rhythm of the humping, just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 25% is focused on a single unsexual object, usually a wooden chair. It's less of a joke and more just a tip for the guys, but and then the last 25% of my brain is still just going because I can't turn that off. And then somehow boyfriend, girlfriend came into my head mixed with all of that, and all of a sudden I've got a song going in my head, If I was your boyfriend, I'd never let you go. I could take you places you ain't never been before. Baby, take a chance so you'll never ever know. And she could see in my eyes that something was wrong. So she asked very innocently, she said, what's on your mind? I'll just show you what happened. If I was your boyfriend, I'd never let you go. I could take it. What's on your mind? Justin Bieber? Yeah. Yeah, I said Justin Bieber and then I came. Which I think is the definition of Bieber fever. I think that's what it is. Luckily, she had the same reaction you guys did. She thought it was hilarious. And that's how I met my ex.